Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about my books. This is grape juice, don't worry about it. Anyways, let's talk about my books. I'm currently on top of a table. Lights on me, as you can tell by my glare. Fans off. 90 degrees outside. Grape juice in my system. A little ASMR. You don't like that? Okay, sorry. Starting off with Steve Huston's figure drawing for artists. I even have his signature since this was giving out the first few prints. I really like Steve Huston's type of drawing. It just sticks with my brain more. Here he has examples of old master studies, so he helps you apply what is written here in the book. I highly suggest also reading because he helps explain why. Highly recommend. I definitely take inspiration from Steve Huston. I really like how he breaks down very complicated anatomy to something that's a bit more easier to understand. He also helps it look more lively and less stiff, which is something that I have to work on. Of course, we have to bring in the Andrew Loomis books. This is Drawing the Head and Hands. I really like this book as well. Here's like a nice example of different head shapes, but not overcomplicating it. This is very helpful if you're a character designer or animator that specializes in character design. Of course, we have the Andrew Loomis method. This is something that I practiced over and over again. But there are many ways of drawing the head. You don't have to do it like him. It's just good practice. I highly recommend just trying different ways and see what works for you. He also has the hands. This is the Head and Hands book. There's also different ages, gender, different hairstyles. Another one of my first books that I bought by Andrew Loomis. This is the Creative Illustration. I really like this book for composition. It helps with leading lines. It's something I need to work on more. So he starts off with line, and then value, or tone in this case. And then you build yourself up to color. Really amazing. And here's some storytelling, portraits, how to use reference, has a little bit of everything. This is another one of my first art books I ever bought. Bought this when I was 18 with babysitting money. So it's very nostalgic. This is by James Gurney. Highly recommend this one as well. He explains different scenes of color and light. He gives different forms, breakdowns, talks about shadows, different shadows. I love this book. I think every artist should have this one by James Gurney. Actually, James Gurney was at Lightbox. And I was so upset that I missed him because I fell asleep and he was at like 10 a.m. and I was still sleeping, but it's okay, maybe next time. But I love this because it gives you different scenarios. Another book that I have is Imaginative Realism. This one is also by James Gurney. And this kind of helps create storytelling, how to draw from imagination by using references, and breaking things down to create your characters and world building. If you like dinosaurs, lots of dinosaurs in here, different creatures. So this is a very nice world building book. How to make storytelling. His books are a little more complicated for beginners, but I do think this is very helpful. Even for me, it's a bit tricky, but he really does break it down step by step. So if you really like perspective, you want to build vehicles, different materials, light sources, how they react to different lighting scenarios based on the material of the object. So yes, if you are into wanting to improve your perspective, your rendering skills, vehicles, etc., highly recommend this. His other book goes pair and pair, which is this one called How to Draw. This is also a bit much for beginners, and I admit that I have not drawn all the way through, but it is on my bucket list. So here he breaks down planes in perspective, So he really does start out small, and then I love the details that he shows. The different panels, planes, so if you really like vehicles, planes, wanting to improve your perspective. Look how nice that is. How to Draw by Scott Robertson. And these are 3 perspective books that really helped me. So Scott Robertson's perspective books may be a little daunting for beginners, so I highly recommend Marcos Mateu-Mestre. I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong, but I feel like for me personally, how my brain works, when I was an absolute beginner, this really broke it down a lot easier for me to comprehend before I jumped into Scott Robertson's book. And what I did was I just copied what was in the book, and that really helped. So he breaks it down from 1 to 2, 3, and how to apply that to different scenes, as you can see. So that's why it really helped me a lot more. So here we have different lenses, how that will affect your storytelling. He also has a second one. Here's like different lighting scenarios. I love how he breaks down something very complicated and makes it simple and geometric, but still very appealing to look at. So here he kind of goes more into like character design and adding your characters into scenes. So this is the Perspective Framed 2. This is also one of my favorites. If you're a character designer, highly recommend the second one as well. So good. Love it. And the third book I have from him is called Framed Ink. So this is good for composition, world building. This one also helped me a lot, so it's kind of a continuation of Framed Ink 2. So he's showing here like different lighting scenarios and how they affect the mood depending on what you're trying to make the audience feel. Look at that. Love this. Wow. That one is Framed Ink by Marcos Mateu-Mestre. I believe that's how you pronounce it, and if that's not the case, I apologize. The books previous were books that helped me level up my fundamentals, and then these books are the ones that I look at for inspiration. So this one is Sketching from Imagination, and it's by 3D Total Publishing. You can get this on Amazon, and it's just an amalgamation of different artists. Look at that. It's like different artists showcasing their work, and I love to look at this for inspiration, how they use different shapes, different workflows, their processes. So this I highly recommend for inspiration when you're stuck, like, oh, how do I make this character look better? I look at these and I think, how did they do the storytelling, the costumes? Like, it's so good. And yeah, here in the back they have like all the artists that were in this book, so that you can go back and check. But I highly recommend this one, Sketching from Imagination Characters by 3D Total Publishing. They have a bunch of other series that I look at when I am stuck and need inspiration. There's another one. This is Masters of Sketching, also by 3D Total Publishing. I love their series that are including different artists. Again, this is a nice book that I look at for inspiration. Different artists break down their workflow. I love this artist. This one is Graphic LA by Rob Ruppel, and I like this because it kind of breaks down simple values that really give impact, mood, and storytelling. And I really like this because I tend to overcomplicate things, and he really helps break it down simply. I also like the book because it's just very pretty to look at. It's just very simple. He shows like a process, how you can make this look so amazing by using simple shapes. You can use markers, or a lot of other artists use like lasso tool on Photoshop to get the same effect. See how he breaks it down from values and then adds more detail and colors. It's just amazing. This is very helpful if you struggle with shapes, if you struggle with overcomplicating things and making it muddy. I highly recommend Graphic LA by Rob Ruppel. Right, this book is quite heavy. This was actually gifted to me by my mother for Christmas. Woo! So this is the complete costume history. It is by Auguste Racinet. I apologize if that's your name. And the publisher Taskin. My bad. But this is quite a large book. Let me zoom out. Zooming away. Look how big this guy is. I like this because it has different costumes, different historic costumes from different cultures and different time periods. So when I'm making a character design and it's of a specific race, a specific time period, I like to look at it. I like to look at the silhouettes, their accessories. It's really nice. I highly recommend this book for character designers, costume designers. Like, look how intricate this is. I love this book. Sometimes when I'm bored, I just look at this and read instead of doom scrolling. It even has like architecture and furniture of that time period if you want to make environment designs, interior designs, and want to add those elements. Even like accessories, going into detail. Very, very nice. Very helpful for when you have a project and they're like, yeah, we need of this time period of this race and we need it by tomorrow, and you're like, oh no. So you whip out this book and you get inspiration and knowledge. Look at that. So this big guy is the complete costume history, and this book I have to promote. It's by Kenny Vo. And this book was actually a collaboration with other artists that were students of Kenny's. It is a book that we did in collaboration. Look at all these amazing artists. Yuppie! Oh, that's me. Look at that. So I also highly recommend this book because we worked very hard on it and we also had a great time. Breaks down our process, storytelling. Look at that. It's so lovely. I'll have the link below in the description, but you can only get a digital copy because the physical copies were sold out. But if it's high in demand, then maybe we can bring it back if a lot of people like it. Wink, wink. So lovely. Look at that. Woo! Epic. Look at that. Very nice. Oh, let me show you hers. It's very whimsical and fun. Look at that. Just breaking it down for you. 2D, 3D. Amazing artists. Wow. Very intricate. Look at that. Yuppie! Very nice. This was the first art book that I was ever in, so it's very dear to my heart. And also because the artists are very wonderful artists and people that I had the privilege to attend classes and live streams and Discord groups together. So it's very lovely and dear to my heart. I will put the link in my description.
Two of my favorite figure and gesture drawing books are Glenn Philpot's Drawing Manual and Michael Hampton's Figure Drawing, Design and Invention.
They were some of the first art books I bought, and I use them so much they're probably hiding under my bed right now.
Both do a great job of simplifying anatomy while emphasizing gesture, helping characters feel less stiff and more alive.
Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your favorite art books in the comments below so we can share and grow as artists.